Music Lens podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
And Katie Fee.
We is back.
We are back for our second episode, but to you it's just one because we do this weekly.
And I cut that part out.
So I figured we'd start off with current events again for this episode.
Okay.
So, and it ties into our topic anyways, so works well.
Okay.
So I feel like everyone's probably heard about the wildfires happening right now in LA and California, and I think it's like the Palisades one is like 40 something% contained now, and the other one's like 70 something. So like
Okay.
the number is getting better containment wise, but it's still like horrifically running wild a little bit. So and obviously that's like affected a lot of people and a lot of things in LA, and the Grammys are coming up, and so there's been a lot of news with the Grammys pertaining to the wildfires. And so the Grammy Awards, they are supposed to be February 2nd in LA at the Crypto.com Arena. And so Monday, January 13th, the Recording Academy announced that they are going to proceed as planned, but supporting fire relief and honoring first responders with the telecast. So all the funds, they're going to raise additional funds with the live telecast to support.
I'm all for still supporting the fires, obviously, but why don't we move it to like Nashville?
That's what I'm
or
wondering.
New York? Because that's where it's been held before.
So we got into this conversation. Sammy, Christian, and I had a co-write this past week, and we were talking about it because I was like, is it safe to do that still? And Christian pointed out like the air quality is really bad too, because like even if the fires aren't necessarily in the area where the arena is, the air quality is really bad, so I don't know how that's going to be safe.
We're flying in artists from all around the world to come here, so it's just adding more, and just the tourists go up normally, so we're adding more population to a place that's already being evacuated.
Yeah. I will say economically, maybe having that boost to the local economy to help with it, maybe,
right? But again,
still,
they're donating for fire relief anyways, the proceeds that go to it. So why not also do like a fundraiser on top of moving it to a place that they've already had it before? Now, granted, it's like 2 weeks away, and is Bridgestone or like Radio City Music Hall going to be ready for something like that?
Right. Yeah.
Probably not within that short amount of time, but I also feel like Nashville could pull something like that off. I feel like,
for sure.
Music City Center, open it up.
Open it up. There you go. Yeah. I just don't know health-wise how that's safe, but I guess also we have to think about the fact that February 2nd is still a couple weeks away, so hopefully by that time it is better enough that it is safe to do it.
Yeah.
It
feels
sure
so
if it's
close
not,
still, though.
it feels like it's like tomorrow or something.
And when this episode comes out, it'll be like that weekend.
Yeah. Because this will be like the last week of January. But I would hope that they will get it contained by then, or for sure like more contained, and so hopefully that will help with the air quality and stuff, so maybe it won't even be a health concern, but I don't know.
Air quality doesn't just like that, takes some time to do itself a little bit.
But I have in a joint letter to Recording Academy members on Monday, Recording Academy and MusiCare CEO Harvey Mason Jr. and Tammy Hurt, chair of the board of trustees, said, so I have like quotes from them, our hearts go out to everyone affected by the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. The city is our home, and we mourn the loss of life and destruction that have come to it in recent days. They added, in close coordination with local authorities to ensure public safety and responsible use of area resources, the 67th Grammy Awards telecast on CBS on February 2nd will proceed as planned. This year's show, however, will carry a renewed sense of purpose, raising additional funds to support wildfire relief. I keep saying that this week. Whenever I've talked to people about it, I have said wildlife so many times. I'm like, no, wildfire, and I don't know why. I'm sorry. Wildfire relief efforts in honoring the bravery and dedication of first responders who risk their lives to protect ours. In challenging times, music has the power to heal, comfort, and unite like nothing else. The Grammys will not only honor the artistry and achievements of our music community, but also serve as a platform to amplify the spirit of resilience that defines this great city of Los Angeles. So I like that they made a note of like, yes, we are trying to be safe with it. We are going to be donating towards it, but also music is still important in times like these to help uplift spirits and bring people together. So I do think it's still important to continue to have this for that purpose.
I had a thought.
Okay, that's why I was like,
oh, I was gonna say, didn't like Universal and Sony make statements about it as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So also with Recording Academy and Music Cares, they pledged $1 billion to support music professionals impacted by the wildfires, and launched the Los Angeles fire relief effort. And then Universal and Sony have both canceled their Grammy Week events, and basically they are taking the money that would have been spent to put on the events and they're donating it to the relief instead.
Oh, okay. I thought they were boycotting the Grammys or something when I first saw it, so that's why I was like, no. Is this like really controversial right
now? But Universal, Sony, and Warner, plus others, I'm sure, have donated at minimum $1 million towards wildfire relief, and then more on top of that, I'm sure. And I don't know how much money it takes to put on all those events, so I'm sure that's a lot of money added as well. Beyonce's Bay Good Foundation has pledged to donate $2.5 million. Beyonce's mother is among those who lost their homes to the fire, so I don't know. I would hope they would do it regardless, but she's part of that, unfortunately. I know Brad Paisley, he posted that him and his wife, their first home that they had together is in the Palisades area, and that's gone.
The Hannah Montana house is gone.
Montana house is gone.
There's a girl on TikTok that lives in that house apparently, like where the exterior of the Malibu shot is. And I also saw that it was gone.
Yeah. Many employees of record labels have lost their homes as well. I know Sammy mentioned that there's people in their LA office at her job that have lost stuff. I don't have this written down, but I think it was like something of 40 plus Universal people have lost homes out there. It's just a lot of destruction and loss of houses and things.
I'm trying to remember, I feel like when I was a part of one of the companies I worked for in the past, there's some organization for like people that work within the music industry that oh no, it was Starbucks, never mind. Starbucks does have a program that if you are in troubling times and work for Starbucks, they have like a emergency relief fund. Okay. So like once, I forget how often it was, but like you could donate part of your paycheck towards that, so then it like puts it in so that like if you ever needed the help, then like there's money there, so like partners donated in within it, and then like it relieved if like you lost a home to a fire or stuff like that. So
I know Airbnb is like offering people places to stay too, but Live Nation and AEG are doing 2 benefit concerts, and they're calling it Fire Aid. They're both going to be on January 30th at the Intuit Dome and Kia Forum in Inglewood, California.
Okay, they need to rename all of their places out there. I'm sorry, but all of them.
Crypto.com arena. I'm sorry, but like having .com in the name.
All of them need to go.
But it's Billie Eilish, Phineas, Earth, Wind and Fire, Gracie Abrams, Green Day, Gwen Stefani, Jelly Roll, Joni Mitchell, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Lil Baby, Pink, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rod Stewart, Sting, Steven Stills, Stevie Nicks, and Tate McRae. I don't know why this is separate, but apparently Dave Matthews and John Mayer.
I was going to say you missed
together
them.
For the first time, so that was like a separate sentence. I guess there's more to be announced, but they're all scheduled to be a part of Fire Aid. I don't know who's at which place because they're the same night, but
I didn't know that.
I think there's ways to like watch online and stuff too, which would make sense because that would help them raise more money if you can watch virtually. And then the last thing I had was that Guitar Center is also helping to assist musicians who lost their gear in the fires. So they have like I think it's like a grant program or something you can like sign up for if you lost your gear, and they'll help replace it.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice that, because like you need your gear to work, so it seems like it's just material things, but it's really not, in the way that it is affecting other things as well, of like your ability to make income to put food on the table and such. So it's important to have your gear as a musician. So wanted to start with current event stuff pertaining to everything that's going out in LA, and we can put some resources in our description as well for like places that you could donate to help with that, help with the relief funds. But it went well also with our topic because we are doing history of the Grammys and kind of behind the scenes of how the nomination process works and all that today. So, and you said this is last week of January, so this is like the week before the Grammys. So I don't know if we timed that on purpose or not.
I think we did.
We did? Okay. I'm like, oh, go us. There we go. Okay, so the Grammy Awards are presented by the Recording Academy, and they recognize outstanding achievements in the music industry and are regarded by many as the most prestigious and significant award in the music industry worldwide. They were originally called the Gramophone Awards, and it's named after the trophy because it depicts...
I was going to say, that's what the little... If you don't know what the trophy is, it's a gramophone.
It is a gilded gramophone, and the Grammys are considered to be one of the 4 major annual American Entertainment Awards, the other 3 being Academy Awards or the Oscars, which are for film, Emmy Awards for TV, and Tony Awards for theater.
It's what the EGOT... If you got an EGOT, it means you got an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony... The 4 mains, and it's very hard to achieve, and only like 30, 40 people have EGOTs.
Google. We don't need to do this, but I'm doing it. 19.
Oh, 19 people have EGOTs.
As of 2024, it says.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of people are missing one. Like,
I'm sure, yeah.
A lot of them have 3, but they're missing, like, that last one.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a very small group of people.
It is.
So the Grammys had their origin.
I just wanted to say before we dive really into it is the reason that we chose so I always wanted to do it just because there's a little bit of some controversy with the Grammy Awards as the history goes on, especially in more modern day. I don't know how far into the history of it you got, like modern day wise, of like artists like saying no to the Grammys and like boycotting it and stuff like that. So I figured we could give some like context as to like where it all started and its roots, and that's kind of why we thought of this topic in the first place. So if you like it enough, and maybe next year we'll do part 2 about the controversies.
If we have time at the end, I have like fun facts, and I did not include that one, but Sinead O'Connor's the only person to ever like decline a Grammy, I guess.
I didn't know you could decline your Grammy.
No, I don't remember what the reasoning was. Something of, I don't know. I don't want to say anything because I'm like, I don't actually remember what I read, and I don't want to misspeak. But yeah, we can do more detail like that on a later episode or a next year episode if we want to keep it around the time of the Grammys. The Grammys had their origin in the Hollywood Walk of Fame project in the 1950s, as recording executives on the Walk of Fame committee compiled a list of significant recording industry people who might qualify for a Walk of Fame star. They realized many leading people in their business would not earn a star on Hollywood Boulevard. They determined to rectify this by creating awards given by their industry, similar to the Oscars and the Emmys.
Oh. Yeah. I didn't know that it was just for the Hall of Fame, the Walk of Fame originally.
They're like, there's so many people that don't get a star, which is interesting. I don't know if it's just like they didn't quite meet the criteria, but felt like they were still like deserving of something. I don't know what the thought process was of why they couldn't get a star, or if they didn't want to like fill it up too fast, because obviously there's still people getting stars.
Yeah.
And that was the 50s, so like who knows how many people have gotten stars since then. But after deciding to go forward with such awards, a question remained what to call them. One working title was the Eddie, to honor Thomas Edison, the inventor of the phonograph. Eventually, the name was chosen after a mail-in contest whereby approximately 300 contestants submitted the name Grammy, with the earliest postmark from contest winner J. Dana of New Orleans as an abbreviated reference to, is it Emile Berliner's invention, the gramophone. Did I say that right?
Sure.
Emile? Sure, okay. Sorry if I didn't. Grammy is first awarded for achievements in 1958. And the first award ceremony was held simultaneously in 2 locations. On May 4th, 1959, so it's first awarded achievements in 1958, meaning like they're honoring stuff from 1958, but the awards themselves were 1959. But they were held in the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills, California, and the Park Sheraton Hotel in New York City.
See, that's what we could do. We could have most of the people in like one of these locations to get away from the fires, and then if you're really content on keeping in LA, you can stay in LA and just do a dual broadcast kind of situation, like they do for New Year's, you know?
True. New Year's is that way.
See, we got all the answers here, people.
Okay. So for the first one, there were 28 Grammys awarded, and the number of awards given grew at one time, reaching over 100 and fluctuated over the years with categories added and removed. Second Grammy Awards were also held in 1959.
I cannot imagine 100. We barely go through most of them now, and there's like 20 of them.
Well, yeah, there's more of that.
Sorry, I had to sneeze so badly, and I knew that was coming. Actually, there's not. There's a lot of Grammy Awards because it's like each individual subcategory has a best song, best album, best artist. So there's a lot, but on the show you get like 10.
Yeah, 10 to 12. So the second awards, also held in 1959 in November 29th, was the first ceremony to be televised, but the ceremony was not aired live until the 13th annual Grammy Awards in 1971. And there's like a table, because I used Wikipedia, there was like a table of the ceremonies. And so the first one was May 1959, second November 1959, and then the third isn't until April of 1961. So they just like did not have one in 1960 since they had two in 59, I guess.
They said we did too much.
They're like, oh, actually, why did we do it so early? I guess the thought process was probably like, oh, we're honoring stuff from 1959. We'll do it at the end of 1959 because it was late November.
Oh, yes. Is that? I never knew those were the lyrics.
That's why there was a TikTok trend with the sound.
I didn't know those lyrics apparently.
Yeah, because it was like the November recap sound was using that. But I guess that's probably the thought process. But then they're like, actually, we need to have it in the springtime or sometime early the next year or something instead. So it's just interesting of that.
Gramophone. But 61 covered the 60s.
Yeah, 1961 was honoring 1960s. So they didn't like miss a year of honoring anybody. It's just it skipped a year of like it took a while to get to the next award show, I guess. Yeah. So the gold-plated trophies are made and assembled by hand by Billings Artworks in Ridgway, Colorado, and they are engraved with each recipient's name, but they're not available until after the award announcement. So they're stunt trophies and they're reused every year for the broadcast. So that's interesting that they like, I guess they have to reuse them. I don't know why.
Hopefully they clean them. At least with like a little wipe down, you don't know who's sweating up there.
I guess my thought, and this goes to like all awards, is that they're blank and you were handed it, but then they take it back and then they take that specific one and engrave it for you.
Oh, so no, I always knew they were propped ones.
That's not how that works. No. So categories, like we said, the number has fluctuated from year to year. The first one had 28. This year, there will be 94 categories. In 2012, they did a significant overhaul of the categories and restructured them, cutting them down from 109 to 78. The most substantial change was eliminating the distinction between male and female soloists and between collaborations and duo/groups in various genre fields. And so today there are 6 general field awards for ones that are like any genre can be in them. So there's Album of the Year presented to performer, featured artist, songwriters, production team for a full album if other than the performer. Record of the Year presented to performer.
That's the other thing you have to think about is, somebody gets that one prop one on the stage.
Then everyone else still needs one.
Every single person in that group of people that are listed, like when they say songwriter, and then they'll list the song, and then it'll have like 5 songwriters.
Like 5
every
trophies.
single person gets a trophy. Yeah.
Record of the Year is presented to performer and or production team of a single song. Song of the Year presented to the songwriter of a single song. Best New Artist is presented to a promising breakthrough performer or performers who in the eligibility year releases the first recording that establishes their public identity. So
which is why I don't get why you can get that and then get everything else.
Yeah, that means you can have like, you could be on your second album and still get it if the first album did nothing and the second one's the one that like broke through to be
hence why Sabrina Carpenter and Chapel and all of those people are now getting some spotlight.
Right, yeah. So those are like the main 4 of the 6, and then they recently added Producer of the Year non-classical and Songwriter of the Year non-classical, and they were like moved into the general field in 2023.
And they have a little pre-production for an hour, and I think that's where they do those.
Yeah.
Because I think Emily Wiseman was out that last year or 2 years ago, because I watched it for once.
Yeah. Understood this right, if this is accurate. The Songwriter of the Year was like first presented also in 2023. The Producer of the Year was first presented in 1974. It was just moved to the general field in 2023. And then other awards are given for performance and production in specific genres and for other contributions such as artwork, video. Special awards are also given for longer lasting contributions to the music industry. I think there's like, isn't there like even like a liner notes one and stuff like that?
Oh, is there?
I think I've seen that before. That was not part of my research, but I want to say I've seen that when I was like scrolling through before of all of them, because there's so many.
There's so many, and also people that vote for the categories like within the respective, they have like a certain amount that they're allowed to, and then they have like the general ones that they're allowed to, and then they have like 2 free picks. Okay.
Yeah, I have the process too. Because the large number of award categories and a desire to feature several performances by various artists, only awards with the most popular interests, typically 10 to 12, including general field categories and 1 or 2 categories in the most popular music genres, so pop, rock, country, rap, are presented directly at the televised award ceremony. And then most of the others, there's like a pre-telecast, like Alex said, premiere ceremony in the afternoon, and that's when they are doing all the other ones.
Yeah, that is literally like when it's award, maybe a performance, award, and it just goes, and it's like
it's a lot.
dinner type thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I think the Grammys are a dinner now, aren't they, ever since COVID, or is that only the Oscars
I think so.
and stuff?
Yeah, because there were tables last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it used to just be a big auditorium.
I like the tables, honestly.
I don't.
I like them. I don't know. They make me think of Artist of the Year for CMT.
Yeah, and I didn't like those either.
Okay. All right, then. Yeah, so then I have the process. So there's actually on the Recording Academy website this like cool graphic based thing of like the process, and like when you scroll, things move on the screen. Obviously you can't see all that now, so I just like typed everything out to read. It takes like a whole year to get to the big night, a music's biggest night, as they call it. Have you ever wondered how the process works? The Grammy is the only music award in which nominees and winners are determined solely by creators themselves, the peers of those being judged. And so to be eligible for this year's awards, the recordings have to be released between September 16th, 2023 and August 30th, 2024. I'm reading that now, and I'm like, I'm curious what the release time was for the year before that, because there's dates missing. You know what I mean? If it's September 16th, 23 to August 30th. So it's like, what happened to September 1st through the 16th? I hope that was on there for the year prior, because that sounds like it's missing stuff.
Yeah, it probably is.
Okay.
Probably.
Just different dates for the last time then, I guess. So, Recording Academy members...
That's also one thing is why everyone's always like, oh, that's why Taylor Swift and stuff like that normally release in October, is because you're fresh for the Grammys.
Yeah.
You're in that last little bit, but everyone remembers it, so they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, but now it's like moved up, I guess, if it had to be done or released by August 30th. But Lainey's album dropped in August, and she's nominated for Country Album, so that checks out timing-wise. Recording Academy members or media companies submit recordings and music videos / films released during the online entry process, or OEP. The online entry process access period for this year's Grammys was open July 17th through August 30th of 2024, and they typically receive around 20,000 entries per year.
Oh, wow.
And so then the Recording Academy Awards Department reviews each entry to confirm eligibility. And once it's been confirmed, submissions are reviewed by genre-based screening committees. And the committees are comprised of more than 300 experts across various musical genres. And they meet to ensure recordings are placed in the proper categories. And so the purpose of these is not to make artistic or technical judgments about the recordings, but rather make sure that they are just placed in the proper category. And then they go on to first round ballot. And so the first round voting determines the nominees, and voting members in good standing are provided secure access to their first round online ballot. And these people are active creative professionals involved in the recording process, such as performers, songwriters, producers, and engineers. They're allowed to vote in up to 10 categories across 3 genre fields, plus the 6 categories in the general field. To help ensure the quality of the voting, members are directed to vote only in areas of expertise. So you can't just vote for stuff that you have no knowledge of, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So then those ballots are tabulated by the...
Don't you have to be within your certain field for 3 years or something before you can be a voting member?
I'm not sure. It just says voting members in good standing, but it doesn't really specify
how
you standing.
You have to be a Recording Academy member, but I think if you're a member, you have to
actively be working or something. My foot.
Yeah, you have to. There's eligibility requirements. Sorry, eligibility requirements to be a Grammy Recording Academy member.
You have to have recommendations and stuff too, because I was like, I'm curious, how do I do this? And
yeah,
you have to be getting recommendations from people who are already members and stuff like that. So there's a whole process to becoming a voting member. So it's not as easy as just being yeah, I work in music.
Yeah.
You have to kind of show proof of stuff, which I think it's the same for CMAs and ACMs. I know you have to be a full-time professional, but I'm assuming there's some sort of similar process for proving it too. So the ballots are tabulated by the independent accounting firm of Deloitte and Touche LLP. I don't know if that's said right, but basically independent, separate from the Recording Academy. And then 5 finalists are in each category are nominated for a Grammy Award. Except for general field, you get top 8 finalists for the 4 main ones, and then producer and songwriter still get 5. But the main 4 are 8 finalists for those ones, which is interesting. I'm not sure what the thought process is, if it's just because it's any genre can be it, that there's just a bigger pool of people.
Probably.
And then final round voting determines the actual winners. So after nominations have been determined and announced, Academy voting members vote in up to 10 categories across 3 genre fields. In the genre fields, I don't know if that was typed twice, plus the 6 categories in the general field to determine the winner. So basically, same process as the first round voting of requirements of what you can and can't do. And then those winners are announced at the awards and the premiere ceremony. So that's kind of how we get from the first part all the way to the awards. And then I have fun facts. So that's all I have left. So
that's fine.
I don't personally think I know anyone who's a member who can nominate, but I know people who have been entered into the first round of voting, of just during the online entry process. Paige has done it before and stuff for songs. So I guess you just gotta know someone who can put your name in the ring.
Yeah.
But I don't know the odds of that happening, because I think they kind of, I guess it depends on the person of how they choose who to vote for. If they choose based solely on the quality of the music and that kind of stuff, of the craft of it, or if they look at the commercial parts as well. Because
and if I remember correctly, there's always like the push of, for your Grammy considerations
so many
that you get
right
around
now.
this time, of people sending out their artist considerations for like their teams and stuff.
I've been getting like, I think it's Billboard keeps emailing for your Grammy consideration, and I'm sure that's just like their team pays.
It's just their team's paying for ads and such things,
sending these out
to send it out to get more eyes on the projects, so that it's in the running and actually considered.
Yeah,
because you can't technically go up to, like, if you are in Universal and one of the artists is like up for something, you can't like force everybody to go vote for them. So like they kind of do some workarounds of like they take out ads and
I've seen it for CMAs
they'll
too.
email people, but like you can't just like email your buddy who's a voting member and be like, hey, you need to vote for this person, like, because it's all within your own free will of voting. So
I want to say I've seen like videos on like Instagram of like for your CMA consideration, and it would have like highlights of, I think for Entertainer of the Year, whoever it was, like highlights of all the numbers of shows and things like that for why they should be considered to be the winner. So sometimes it's like a highlight reel. I was like, it both makes sense in my head of stats and stuff too, and not just like, hey, listen to this, because they probably already have heard it. So so
it's like a little EPK being sent out.
Yeah, basically an EPK, but like specific to trying to get an award.
Yeah, like really flashy.
So I just have some fun facts. So that will be kind of our ending, is some facts. To date, 3 artists have won all 4 of the main general field categories. I'm realizing this is all 4, so don't count producer and songwriter in this. 2 won 4 at once. So Christopher Cross in 1981 and then Billie Eilish in 2020.
That's so surprising that that's the only 2 that have. Oh, wait, there's 4.
2 have won all in the same year.
Okay.
And then Adele is the 3rd one, and she won Best New Artist in 2009. And then the other 3 in 2012 and 2017. I didn't look up if that meant literally all 3 both in 2012 and 2017, or like between those 2 years she got the other 3. But either way, like, there's still only 3 artists who have won all 4 of those awards.
Well, isn't there like a new artist curse a lot of times that people are like, if you win Best New Artist, then like there's like a little curse on your career that you're not going to win the rest of them or something like that. I heard about like stupid superstition of that. I don't remember what award show it's for, but I thought it was the Grammys, because it was like,
okay.
Or like something weird happens in your career. I don't know. I've just heard about it.
I don't know. But Billie's the youngest artist to have won all 4 awards. I think that's kind of obvious considering there's only 3 people, and just like based off those names. I don't know who Christopher Cross is, honestly, but I don't know. I feel like it makes sense that it's Billie. Beyonce has won the most Grammys with 32, and she also has the most nominations with 99.
Oh, wow.
She almost has 100 nominations. That's crazy. U2 holds the record for most wins by a group with 22. And since the Grammy Awards began broadcasting on CBS in 1973, what year marked the highest rated show so far? I forgot that some of these I copy and pasted from a list, so that's why they suddenly sound weird. 1984 was the highest rated, I guess. Then that answers the question. And it was all about the King of Pop. Viewers came to see Michael Jackson, who had recently suffered burns to his scalp filming a Pepsi commercial, and stayed to see him take home a record 8 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year for Thriller and Record of the Year for Beat It.
I'm surprised he didn't win the main 4.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think people also make that superstition of like if you
if
win
you don't get
best new artist,
then it's like,
well, I was gonna say I think people make that superstition about if you don't win best new artist to make it like just because you didn't win best new artist doesn't mean your career is over, because you could still win a whole bunch of other stuff. But like I think it's the whole eyes are on you, so like your next stuff has to impress so much more after winning best new artist is more the superstition of it.
Yeah. But yeah, if you don't win best new artist, that's like something you can only get nominated for like once.
3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a rule?
Yeah, because that's why Tate McRae can get nominated for Best New Artist this year, is because she's already been in it 3 times.
That's weird. I would think it should only be like once, because in theory it's like, okay, well, you're supposed to be, this is the time that you rose to popularity, and so after that you should already
you can only be submitted 3 years in a row or something like that. Okay. There was some rule about that because everyone was like, where's Tate's nomination, and like or why isn't she being considered, or like maybe for first round nomination type things. There's some rule about that.
The biggest bummer award goes to then Beatle Paul McCartney. Also holds this notable record. In 1966, he was nominated 9 times for his work on the album Help and the song and record Yesterday, but left without a single Gilded Gramophone trophy. So, yeah, I guess that's like the person who's been nominated for the most and didn't win anything or something.
I wonder if that's why Michael Jackson, maybe because Jackson 5 and all of that stuff, does that why he wouldn't be Best New Artist? Or
I feel like you could still be nominated when you go solo.
Okay.
I don't see why not.
But people already know who you are. You're not just rising to fame, really.
But it's hard to get a solo career after being in a group sometimes. So look at Tyler Hubbard and Brian Kelly. Look at where Brian Kelly's at right now.
Both of them are doing nothing.
Tyler's still opening
I don't
for
like
people
both
and
of
stuff.
them, though.
But, okay. All right. Grammy Awards are not all about music. The best poetry, audiobooks, and storytelling are recognized with the Best Spoken Word Album Award. The category's winners even include some presidents. Barack Obama, who...
Yeah, that's how it's something when you're like, why do they have Grammys? It's this.
Yeah. This article was in 2022, so this sounds a little dated, of Barack Obama, who is up for his 3rd Grammy. So this was in 2022 for A Promised Land. And then Bill Clinton, who was recognized for My Life in 2005. Jimmy Carter, the current leader, with 3 wins, 2007, 2016, and most recently 2019 for Faith, A Journey for All. So Jimmy Carter got 3 Grammys from the Best Spoken Word Album. And I did look up the Barack Obama one, and he lost to Viola Davis. So he did not win, but he got nominated. So that's cool. And then the last one I have is that the youngest winners. So Leah Pesaul of the country trio, the Pesaul sisters, was 8 years old when they won Record of the Year for the film soundtrack to Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
I do not know who they are.
I didn't either, and it originally said Leon Rimes, and then I realized I need to do more research and see that that's not up to date. But so Leah is the youngest at 8 years old. Second youngest is Blue Ivy Carter at 9 years old. In 2021 for Best Music Video for Brown Skin Girl with Beyonce and WizKid. So she won because she was in the music video with her mom. And then I want to say, I didn't write down the rest, but I think 3rd was one of the other Pesaul sisters at age 11. And then it was the 3rd sister at 14. And Leanne Rimes was also 14. And there was another 14-year-old. So that's the top 5. So yeah, 8 years old is the youngest Grammy winner. Not 8 now, but 8 when she won. Maybe what it was, now that I'm thinking about it, is why it said Leanne Rimes was maybe because it was her project. She was the main person versus with the Pesaul sisters, it was part of a soundtrack for a film.
I was gonna say it's not what you normally think. It's somebody who's making
Leanne Rimes won as an artist herself at age 14.
Yeah.
So she would be the youngest if you were talking from that aspect of it. So
I forget that she's been in this for so long.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because she was like the youngest person with a record deal or something for a while, and then I can't remember her name, but someone in recent years got signed, and they're like, it's the youngest since LeAnn Rimes. And I can't remember who it was, but I know it happened while we were at Belmont.
Oh, really?
But I can't remember who the name of the girl. Oh well, it's fine. But yeah, that's all the fun facts I had, and a little history, and also behind the scenes of the Grammy Awards. So
fun.
What are you looking forward to on Sunday of the week that this comes out for Grammys? Let us know if you have a performance you're looking forward to seeing, if you have an artist that you're rooting for to win a certain award. And we're gonna be doing an episode of our thoughts and stuff, I believe, for the Grammys after the fact. It won't be next week because that's like, we won't have time to record after the Grammys happen before the episode has to come out, but we'll do one. Well, no, it's just, that's a quick turnaround, even if you didn't have a busy schedule. Send any of those thoughts to us at the Music Lens Podcast at gmail.com or on our socials at the Music Lens Podcast. And you can find Alex on socials at Alex Allegra Music and myself at Katie Fee Music.
And that is everything.
That is everything. We will see you next time.
Bye. Bye.